This episode isn't about diagnosing anyone. It's not about calling your ex a narcissist. It's about recognizing unhealthy dynamics and patterns that quietly erode your sense of self, hopefully before it's too late.
Welcome back to the Touch My Health podcast. My name is Matt.
I'm Katie.
Today we are talking about narcissism because this last month we have witnessed so much damn narcissism
So
from
much.
our friends being in a relationship with a narcissist, and we really want to call out some red flags
Hmm.
that you need to notice and recognize
Early,
early
way
on.
early.
Yeah. And if you haven't realized them early on, recognize them now.
Yeah,
Recognize these
right.
freaking patterns of awful behavior before it's
Hmm.
too late because these narcissists are the few we've seen in this last month
Evil,
are
evil.
evil,
Yeah,
and uh, it's not even a question of if this is narcissistic behavior. It's just to what extreme their behavior is narcissistic.
right. Because I do think that narcissistic behavior has a couple different levels. I mean,
Oh, sure.
you can be off the charts and you can be kind of a
Subtle.
subtle. Yeah,
Subtle
that's a good word.
narcissist. Yeah.
Um, so we put together top 10 red flags to spot a narcissist in a relationship. And like we mentioned, hopefully you can listen to this and recognize it early on. And even if it's not, recognize it now. Take the blinders off, take the glasses off, really pay attention and look at these things.
Yeah.
So you want to get into the first one?
Yeah.
Come on, babe.
Red flag number one. Everything revolves around them. Quick explanation is a narcissistic partner will center their needs, emotions, and experiences above everything, above yours, everyone's. Even during your hardest moments, they're going to make it about themselves. If you're upset about something serious and the conversation quickly turns into how your feelings are stressing them out, or they try and one up you with something that they've gone through and diminish what you're talking about, they basically just shut you down and make it about
Yeah.
themselves.
Yeah, like, oh, you think that's bad? Well, at
Yeah.
least you never had this, or that's nothing. Well, this happened to me, or you're just a baby,
Yeah.
like, yeah, it's all about them, right?
Mhm. And it can be emotionally impactful because you'll start to feel that emotion where you really feel unseen and start minimizing your own needs just so you guys can have peace in your relationship. And that is, a huge emotional impact because then you stop having feelings.
Right. And we probably should have maybe said this in the beginning, but kind of how we'll lay out these red flags is talk about what they are, provide an explanation, kind of give you a real life example, and then explain the emotional impact it can
Sure,
have.
sure.
So, second red flag is lack of genuine accountability, which I think is extremely important. So, an explanation would be they avoid taking responsibility and replace apologies with excuses, deflection, or blame.
Oh, this one bothers me so
Yeah. So
much.
a real life example would be, instead of saying, I hurt you, I'm sorry I hurt you, they say, I wouldn't have done that if you hadn't reacted the way you did. Another one is blaming you for their abusive outbursts. Because, and this is one that we heard in this last month that is just so infuriating. Like, what pisses me off. So it's your fault that I had an abusive outburst or that my action, was your fault. And yeah, it's awful.
It was
Because
the off so
the
bad.
emotional impact it has on you is you begin doubting whether your feelings are valid or
Mm,
are you too much. You begin to push down things that upset you to avoid arguments,
yeah. Yeah.
especially if you're someone who doesn't like confrontation, like me.
Mm.
This was a really um, big one for me is pushing things down because I just, it was like it wasn't worth it.
Right. The this last month, what we have seen with
Oh,
this, like you stated, it's the well, if you wouldn't have acted that way, I wouldn't have hit you, or I wouldn't have yelled at you. And it's like,
wouldn't have done the things that I'd done. You know what
where the
physically hurt.
hell is the accountability for your abusive behavior,
None.
sir?
None.
Excuse me.
Mhm.
What? Somebody else's
I hope he watches
behavior.
this too because he'll know exactly.
Yeah, both of them. If if you cannot control your own behavior, then that's your fault. That's a
Mhm.
you problem. That
Yeah.
isn't I can't blame you for the way that I act.
Yeah.
You can affect my feelings, sure, but I have every uh intention of my and of my own reactions. I have control of my own
Mhm.
reactions.
Well, we're adults, right? This is something where you are rooted in childlike behavior. You do something that upsets me. It is now my responsibility to act either in a way that's positive or negative.
Right.
I can lash out at you and blame you,
Yeah.
or I can say, listen, that hurt my feelings, or I didn't
Mhm.
like this, or I know you didn't mean to. You probably, let's talk about this. You probably didn't mean it the way it came across or whatever. But if
Yeah.
I'm
That's
like,
very
if
healthy.
I'm
That
if
that
I'm
sounds
like,
great. Yeah.
it's your fault. No, 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 no.
Right. And
Um,
that's what we've seen this last month. And I'm like, oh, I just
yeah,
get so fired up because it's
it's just childish. You
no
just childlike behavior.
accountability
Yeah.
for their own
Hmm.
frickin' behavior, and it pisses me off so
Yeah,
bad. I'm
I could
sorry.
say a bunch of other
I
things too.
get I
We should
get so
probably move
fired
on from
up.
that one.
Yeah.
So okay, red flag number three, babe.
Yeah. They flip the narrative, meaning that when they're confronted, that person will shift the focus so you become the problem instead of the issue being addressed. So again, it's not them being accountable, but you being the problem. And say you bring up, you feeling hurt and suddenly you're defending yourself against accusations of being dramatic or disrespectful. It can have an emotional impact. You feel confused. You get defensive. I mean, obviously, it's so emotionally exhausting after every conflict. And the same thing starts happening with the avoidance of accountability. You start shoving feelings down to avoid conflict. You don't want to have that conflict because
You know it's
it's
not
all
gonna
your
go.
fault.
Yeah,
It's
it's not
all
gonna
your
go
fault every
anywhere.
time. I
It's not
mean,
gonna go anywhere, and you're gonna feel like trash
oh,
because you're not getting your needs met, and you're not.
right.
There's no communication there. There's no healthy communication there. It's just.
It's a one-way conversation.
Hmm.
It's you're the problem. What did you do?
Yeah, it's
And why did
never
you piss me
me.
off? What you did pissed me off.
Yeah. Okay. Red flag number four. These are all really good ones. Red flag number four is love bombing early on. And I know we've talked about this before. And this is one where I feel like there could be a really gray line or a blurry line. But
Gray area.
yeah, gray area, blurry line. They overwhelm you with attention, affection, and future promises before real trust is built. And it
Mhm.
can be hard why I say it's kind of a gray area is because it can be hard to detect because there are people out there who show love in this way and are genuine.
Yeah.
They are just
Their love language is gifts.
yeah, or something like that.
Yeah.
But I would say a key distinguishing factor is if you notice this early on and it's very intense and it's very strong,
Mhm.
and then as time goes on, you start to see it diminish little by little, like it's not consistent, then I would say that is definitely love bombing. Like they talk about marriage, soulmates, forever, within weeks, making you feel like you're chosen and
Damn.
special. Um, the emotional impact there is you become emotionally attached very quickly,
Right.
making later mistreatment harder to leave.
Yeah.
So you replay all these early moments in your head to try and justify the mistreatment or tell yourself, well, it's not that bad. And I can remember doing this. I can remember in my, it's so funny, I look up like I'm replaying it because I can remember being in the car driving and having these thoughts and feelings of like how it's like, how did I get here? Or like,
Oh, yeah.
why is like either what am I doing or is it really me or whatever? And then I say, well, you know what? This is better than being by myself or being out in the dating pool. And, it's really not that bad. I'm just making a big deal up about it. Like, you know,
I gave some pretty crazy side eye because I would much rather be alone than deal with that shit.
yeah. And now I understand that, but I kept replaying all those good
Right.
things and all the love bombing things and saying, well, you know, that it's fine. That makes up for it. Like all these other things that are going on now, it's fine. I'm fine. It's fine.
Mm. Oh.
To put the dumpster fire picture up there.
Red flag number 5 is chronic confusion, where their behavior is inconsistent, where they're loving on you one moment, and then the next moment they're cold and critical of you without any type of explanation. One day they're affectionate and attentive, and the next day they're completely distant, irritated with you, and nothing that you can recall ever happened. So the emotional impact to that is you stay stuck trying to figure out what you did wrong instead of noticing that pattern of behavior. You find yourself in a state of a roller coaster of emotions and you can't figure out why. It's just that all the time
Mhm.
confusion.
And it's a way too for them to just try to gain attention from you.
Hmm.
I feel like sometimes they do that when they feel as if they're maybe losing control or the ball's kind of shifting out of their court. So they have to then become cold and distant, and
Yeah.
it's leaving you reaching out and be, what's wrong? What happened? Did I do something? Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. Why are you upset?
No, I'm fine. I'm fine.
Yeah. Ugh.
Yeah. Married woman. I'm fine.
That's fine.
That's fine. All right. Red flag number 6 is emotional punishment. So, emotional punishment is when they withdraw affection, communication, or support to regain control. Kind of similar to what we just said. But in a real life example would be like after a disagreement, they ignore you for days. They act cold until
Mhm.
you apologize,
Oh,
even if you didn't do anything wrong. It's like
mhm.
they can hold out and they know you're going to cave, right?
Yeah.
And the emotional impact there is you become anxious and compliant just to restore emotional safety.
Yes. Yeah, that those days of not talking to you and completely shutting out the conversation, not addressing the problem, and like you said, and pulling away from any type of affection. I got that a lot.
Yeah, me too.
Days on end,
Me
and
too.
it was me that would cave, and I'm like, I don't know what I did, but I'm sorry. Like, let's talk about it after, a day or two.
Hmm.
And it's just so exhausting.
Yeah.
And I didn't recognize that that's what narcissist behavior is.
Yeah, because it's all about control.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
And number 7, red flag number 7, boundaries trigger anger or guilt.
Hmm.
So having a healthy boundary feels like rejection or control loss to a narcissistic partner. When you say no, they accuse you of being selfish or distant or unloving. And the emotional impact is really where you stop setting boundaries, that you stop setting boundaries knowingly to avoid conflict or emotional backlash.
Hmm.
You are allowing that person, your partner, to cross your boundaries that make you uncomfortable consistently
And walk
because,
all over you.
yeah, because you don't want, again, you don't want that conflict.
Hmm.
Because every time you do have conflict, it's your fault.
Right. It's turned around back on you.
Hmm.
Yeah. Narcissists hate boundaries. They hate boundaries, especially boundaries that don't,
Especially.
especially, yeah, especially
Okay.
X, the X's,
X.
especially. Stop picking on me. God. When it's a boundary that prevents them from either maintaining control
Mhm.
or it's a boundary that does not align with what their viewpoint is or how
Mhm.
they think, how they feel, how they think that relationship dynamic should be. Um,
Yeah, those boundaries are for your own safety or for your own mental health and mental peace, and they don't give a shit about that.
no, oh God, no, no. All right, now red flag number 8 is rewriting history. This one I feel a lot too, but it's basically where they confidently deny or distort past events to protect their image
Hmm.
or to just
Rewrite history.
rewrite history
Yeah.
to not accept responsibility for something maybe they did.
Or make it fall in their favor.
Like for a real life example, they insist something never happened, even when you clearly remember it and felt its impact, or they claim you did something that you did not do, or distort it to make it seem like what you did was awful, even when, it wasn't.
Oh, the
So,
gaslighting is
yeah.
strong there.
So I have, like, when I was putting this together, the first thing I thought of, as far as a real life example, was a trip that I went on with my ex. We went to the hill country. It was for a specific festivity,
Okay.
I'll say.
All right.
And we were with a bunch of our friends, and I um, made a joke to one of our other friends
Right.
who was a guy,
Hmm.
and he didn't like the joke, I guess.
Who didn't like the joke?
My ex.
Okay.
I didn't know it at the time. Like, I just thought we were being funny. Um, and it turned into this huge argument. I mean, like, he pulled me out to the side and basically said, like, everybody looked at me weird and I was, an embarrassment. And why did I say that? Or
Was
why am
it
I talking like that? And just made it sound like, oh, everybody's like looked at me like I was, side-eyeing me. Like, why would she say that? Oh my God. Like I
how
had
dare
done
you?
something
Hmm.
horrible. And at this point, this was not the first time something like this had happened. And we'd all been drinking, and I got irritated. And I went up to the person I made the joke to, and I said, "Hey, did I make you feel uncomfortable when I made that joke? If I did, I'm sorry." And he looked at me clueless and was like, what do you mean, no? And then
Right.
I went to our other friend and I said, "Hey, did that, even though it wasn't to him, but supposedly he was one of the people side-eyeing me and like
Oh,
giving my ex a look like, did you just hear what your woman said?" And he was completely like, what are you talking about?
yeah.
So I knew it was just my ex full of shit
Right.
being, because he was uncomfortable with something, with a joke. And instead of coming to me and saying, "Hey, that joke kind of made me uncomfortable," like,
Was it dick joke? Was it
yeah,
sex joke?
yes,
What was it?
yes, it was a dick joke.
Dick joke. Who
So,
do, who doesn't like dick jokes?
right.
Okay.
And
L, you make that's gross.
yeah. Well, and I guess I would say it wasn't like a sexual dick joke, even though I don't know if that makes
It
sense. Like,
doesn't
it wasn't,
matter. Yeah, you guys are friends
but
and y'all are
I
in
mean,
a
it turned into this huge thing. I mean, it was to the point to where we were like, we had come back into our little party, but even at the end of the night when pretty much everyone was sleeping, like, then he like started again and we were outside, and I was just crying hysterically to the point that our other friends who were in a room could hear me and him
right.
outside, and his best friend came outside and was like, "Listen, I don't know what's going on, but it's not that bad. Like,
Calm the
please
fuck down.
stop. Everything's fine. Like, no one's, and then he was trying to diminish it and be like, "Oh no, it's fine. We're fine. We're just talking. We're just talking." Meanwhile, I'm boohoo crying. I'm just so upset.
Yeah,
And
because
his
he's
best friend's trying to just be like, "You guys," because everyone's here for us, you
oh
know.
Lord.
It, yeah, it was
Okay.
just, It was awful. And so the emotional impact there is you start questioning your memory,
Yep.
your judgment, and your
Yep.
reality, because that is something I would do. And at that time, I was like, I'm going to ask about this because
Mhm.
normally those kinds of conversations were brought up after the fact, after we were gone, we were alone. So I couldn't
Yeah.
be like, hey, you know, did I make a, was I doing something wrong?
Yeah.
But normally in the mornings, it would be like,
And because of this, you started taking notes
yeah,
on
yeah, I did.
nights where things would happen, which is
Mhm.
also another relationship
Because
red
I
flag.
wanted
If
to,
you have to
hmm
take notes of what happens throughout the night, you shouldn't be doing that
yeah,
because
because I wanted to remember in the morning.
yeah, but that also then justifies what you did and proves in writing what actually happened because
hmm
you know that they're going to flip that
Yeah.
narrative.
And now that I look back on it, it's really just because you were uncomfortable.
Correct. Red flag number 9, walking on eggshells,
Mm.
where you constantly monitor your words and behavior to avoid triggering a negative reaction. Like when you rehearse conversations in your head before they even happen because you're afraid of your narcissistic partner's response. The emotional impact there is your nervous system stays in fight or flight even during calm moments. So you're always on edge. You're always feeling anxious. This is their control because if you are unsure of yourself, you
You
know
just shut up.
you're just uh always anxious or you're feeling anxious, you don't know how to react, and that's their control because now they can tell you how to react.
hmm
They can tell you how you should be reacting to this situation. They are just basically puppeting you.
hmm
You're just a puppet for them to control.
Yeah, I would replay or I would have conversations in my head about and like rehearsing, how it would go. And then if
Yeah.
and I was playing both parts, my part, his part, my part, his part. And if I didn't feel like it was going to get anywhere, I would just be like, okay, well, never mind. But yeah, rehearsing conversations in your head is some people I think of that as like, well, you're just being prepared or you're just, you know, trying to be mindful of like what you're going to say but a lot of that time it's really just you being nervous and scared
Yes.
of what's going to happen. So
Yeah.
you're trying to brace yourself and like replay all the possible scenarios of what could happen so you have a response or rebuttal.
Hmm.
And it's more just you're defending yourself in your mind. Really, that's what it comes down to. And it's yeah, your nervous system staying in fight or flight mode.
Yeah. And you're having these conversations because you're scared, because you're
Walking
nervous,
on eggshells.
and walking on eggshells of their reaction to what you're fixing to say to them. And that's what they want. They don't want you coming to them with any problems or feelings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You're not
You don't
allowed.
have feelings.
You're not allowed
You're
to
not
have
allowed.
those.
You feel when I tell you to feel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So our final red flag number 10 is you start feeling smaller over time. So instead of growing within the relationship, your confidence, joy, and sense of self and self-worth slowly start to shrink, right? So, real life example would be you speaking up, pursuing interest, or feeling like yourself, or no, I'm sorry, you stop speaking up, stop pursuing interest, stop feeling like yourself around them. So, I remember when I used to say to myself before, like we would go out with friends, or even if it was just him and I would go out, that I was just not going to talk. I would tell myself, like, I'm just going to shut up. I'm just going to be quiet. I'm not going to say anything
You're just gonna be
because
a freaking mime.
yeah, because I felt like anytime I opened my mouth, it would come back at me later. Like anytime I started having a good time, I would get nervous because in the back of my mind, I was saying, am I doing something wrong?
Oh,
Is this going to come back at me later? Like,
yeah.
and so I don't know if you remember this, but when I would say probably within the first 6 months or so of our relationship, is when you lived at the pool house.
Oh, okay. I
And
love that house.
we had I don't know who we had over. It was like,
Doesn't matter.
yeah,
We usually had friends over.
yeah. I mean, it wasn't like a lot of people, but it was a couple of friends. We were swimming and stuff. And then, like, I stayed in the pool. You got out and started cooking. And then, I think the other friends were out, whatever. And I started crying and I got upset and you saw that and then like came over to me and you were like, what's wrong? And I I was having fun and I got nervous that I had done something or said something that would upset you because I just was so used to having a good time and like,
And then all the
and
fun ending.
right. And then something, I said or I did something that was bad or awful or inappropriate or whatever,
Yeah.
And do you remember that or no?
No, no,
Like, it's okay. You're fine. I'm not upset. You didn't do anything wrong. And I was like, are you sure? Because I'm just having a really good time. And normally when this happens, it means I'm doing something wrong where I've said, and you were like, no, 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 no.
yeah, what?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not here to ruin your fun. Let's keep
Yeah.
having, no, I don't remember that, but uh that makes me so mad that when you're having fun, you felt like you were doing something wrong. And just,
Yeah. Well, because like I was sitting in the
like,
pool and I
it
started
just,
replaying like conversations and then, no one was around me. Like you were making food, our other friends were getting changed and I was just sitting there and then it was like, oh God, oh no, and I was
you
like
start
waiting.
feeling anxious.
Yeah. Well, and so the emotional impact
Mhm.
from that, and when you start feeling those things, is you feel disconnected from who you are, who you used to be, and you start thinking like, how did I get here? You're
Yeah.
unsure how this happened.
I don't know. I don't recall that at all. And
Yeah.
it,
But you handled it very well.
well, thanks, but it's not even a memory in my head. Just, I guess it was so small. Uh, but it goes back to the healing part of it, and that'll be a whole nother episode of healing after narcissistic abuse because you are used to your fun ending in trauma and
Turmoil,
and
arguments.
are like, what the hell? Why can't you just have fun? Like, just relax. Let's
Yeah.
chill. Like it's just so,
Well, it's also an important thing to point out that that's why sorry, hold on. It's important to know what your triggers are, what upsets you, what triggers you, and to like, really think about them, what they are. And if it's something, I don't want to say something that's important versus not important, but there can be things that trigger you that really aren't life or death, right? There's
okay.
something small. You
Yeah.
just need to be aware of them. Like, I'm not saying don't make a big deal out of it, but acknowledge that it's more you and it's what triggers you. It's your feelings, it's your response to it, not
Uh-huh.
someone being intentional and purposefully doing something to hurt you,
Okay.
right? And I think that's a lot of what happened with him is he had triggers that he did not acknowledge and maybe he didn't realize, but it happened a lot in settings where we were out having fun and drinking was involved and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Ugh.
So,
Awful. So, going back to the beginning where we were talking about, we saw a lot of this narcissistic behavior this month. One big one that we need to also mention is the financial side of narcissistic abuse,
yeah,
because a lot of things focus around money. We're all not rich. We aren't, you
well,
know,
some people are,
throwing
but
billions of dollars around. So one thing that happened, and a lot of a
Could be a
lot
whole
of
nother episode on
we
this.
really could. But one thing that happened in my own relationship is due to money. I didn't leave right away. And we know that this happened with one of our friends. And the financial side of it is the control. They're going to probably have control of the money and
Or try to figure out a way to get it.
or try to figure out a way to get control of the money. Or we saw this one, they take the money out of your account and put it in their account that you don't have access to. They have access to your account, but you don't have access to their account. And that's theft. But that's that control because say you want to leave, right? And you want to go find a new place to live. Well, when they take your money, you can't go find a place to live. So now you're stuck. Now you're
Hmm.
you're you're under their thumb again.
Hmm. Or sometimes in the beginning of relationships, and they say, oh, I'll take care of you. You don't
Quit
have to
working.
work. I got you. Or, I'll pay for this. Let me add you on my phone plan. I'll pay for your phone bill. Watch out for that one.
Ooh,
I'll take care of this. I'll take care of that.
right.
I've, I don't know. It's like I'm jaded too. Like, I feel like it can't be just a nice gesture, right? Like
Yeah.
there's got to be something behind that. But it is a way when someone's a narcissist or they're just abusive and they want to gain control. That is one thing that people I think often overlook when they think of narcissistic abuse. It's more mental, emotional, physical, and there is a financial aspect
Huge.
to abuse that
Yes.
is not talked about as much.
Yep.
We
When
definitely.
when they want to take all of the power and the mm, responsibility away from you, that is out of control, or that is for control. That is not out of the kindness of their heart. I'm telling you right now, it's not out of the kindness of their heart. And I've seen it. I've seen it firsthand. They take your phone bill or they buy you a new phone, put you on their phone bill. Now they can cut the phone off
Oh yeah.
at any time they want. Anytime you piss them off, they'll cut your phone off. Now you don't have access to anybody.
And one thing we just learned too is they can if your name is not on the phone plan, they say, "Here, I'm going to pay for your phone bill. I'm going to add you on my plan. Um, you transfer your number over there. It's in their name."
Yeah.
They can then shut, like you said, shut your phone off. You can't do anything about that. You can't call because you're not on the plan. And they probably didn't make you an authorized user or whatever
Oh,
the case is.
think
But they
about
can
that.
also then go to their plan, get a new SIM card for that number, put it in a different phone, and then they have access to everything that was in your phone because it's attached to a new SIM card with that number. That's what happened to our friend.
Dirty
Yeah.
tricks.
Yeah.
These,
These mother
man, I'm telling you,
That, yeah,
if
that's
any of this,
infuriating.
if any of this is indicative of what you're seeing on an everyday basis in your relationship,
Run.
get out. Get out now.
Hmm.
Because even even in like longer relationships, it's hard to get out. But if
If it's early,
early, it's a little bit easier, but still they want that control. And when they lose control of you, they're going to do everything they can to regain that control.
mhm.
They're going to pull out the crocodile tears. They're going to say, I love you, even though that they've been abusive to you.
I'll change, I'll do this, I'll do that.
The promises are going to
We
be endless.
we did an episode, I think, on something like that. We'll have to try and link it, but like the things that narcissists say to try to keep control and gain
Yes.
control.
Hmm.
And they'll do things that you've never seen before or you wouldn't
Yeah.
expect them to do. I mean, that's what happened to one of our friends is she was like, "Oh, I told her you're going to see this, you're going to see that, blah blah blah." And she's like, "No, no, I
You
won't."
warned
And she
her.
did.
You warned
Yeah,
her.
freaking did.
You said that, watch, I bet you he's gonna pull out some alligator tears and just, I mean,
She was
start
like,
the
no.
bawling. She's like,
I've
he's
never seen him cry. She said, I've never seen him cry in 6 or 7 years or whatever, however long they've been together. I said, okay, sure as
wait.
shit. What happened? Big old crocodile tears.
Yeah. So these are things that they're going to pull out of their bag of tricks because they are an
They've been waiting.
abusive and a controlling narcissistic piece of shit.
Yes.
So be a be cautious, be very aware of the relationship you are in and these red flags. We
Be
gave you
yeah.
10 red flags, and if any of these resonate with you, don't hesitate to reach out to us. We are here. We've seen it. We are living proof that you can get out of it.
This last month's been wild.
It has. Oh my
Yeah, and
God.
you need to advocate for yourself. You really do. As hard as it is, and I understand and I've seen how hard it is,
Hmm.
you have to advocate for yourself and you have to just pull out of it.
Yeah.
But basically, closing statements here is, if a relationship leaves you confused, anxious, questioning your reality, that's information to yourself that something is not right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hmm.
Healthy love does not make you feel small. It doesn't make you feel afraid or unsure of yourself.
Couldn't agree more. And again, if this episode brought you clarity, like and subscribe to Touch My Health for more real conversations. We are living proof of these, and we talk about narcissistic and healing after abuse, healing after narcissistic relationships, trauma. So comment if you want an episode on healing after narcissistic relationships. That'll be a good follow-up to these 10 red flags.
Right. So go follow us on all of our socials. They'll be linked in the description. And like and subscribe to our channel. And we will see you on the next one, guys.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us today. If you learned something and our stories resonate with you, subscribe to our podcast. That's a zero-cost way to support our channel. You can also follow us on Spotify, Instagram, and TikTok. They're linked in the description of the episode. We'd love for you to put any questions, comments, or suggestions for future episodes in the comment section on YouTube. We'll read them all. Again, thanks for joining us. We really appreciate your interest. And as always, we remind you to be the best version of yourself. See you next time on the Touch My Health podcast.